here after a 0-0 0-0 draw with the San Jose Earthquakes. And we are here today with Reid, and we have a list of things. Reid, take it away.
Reid has a list! I mean, first and foremost, Marshall said it, unacceptable. You can't have a home game against the number 13 team in the Western Conference, 13 out of 14, and draw 0-0. Maybe if it was a 2-2 draw or something like that.
At home.
Positive signs.
At home.
But this is at home. We didn't score against the San Jose Earthquakes.
Well, let me interject. We did score.
Well, no, but Mukhtar was offside. Sapong wasn't offside. Okay. But no, Mukhtar was offside in the build-up.
Maybe I need to rewatch it.
Yeah, because at first I was confused about that because I thought they were calling Sapong offside, but no, it was Mukhtar on the initial through ball.
Okay, I'll take it.
You know, first I want to say I hope nobody's blaming this loss on Luke Hawkinson for not putting that chance away because I'll say, to be fair to him, when that through ball comes in, of course it looks like a sure goal. He has the choice of either just shooting it right away or going around the goalie, putting it away.
He did the smarter thing.
I think he made the smarter thing, and it comes down to a fantastic defensive effort by the defender. And if he had,
number 3.
Yeah.
He is excellent.
And if he had waited for that slide tackle to go away and take the shot, people are probably going to want him to do that.
Yep.
If he had done that, another guy would have just came in. I think he did everything he needed to do.
And he was running out of space in his defense. I think Reid just was there with the tackle at every moment.
But beyond that, I mean, the attacking play was unacceptable. Because there were many times throughout the game where, you know, Wheels putting crosses in, Washington's putting crosses in. I wish Washington got the ball a little bit more out on the wing. But they're putting these balls in, and NSC was just not sharp enough on when the ball gets centered. They had a blunt edge, that's just a fact of the matter.
There was no clinical ability. I didn't see a whole lot of creativity in the middle, like in the box.
I mean, Mukhtar, especially in the first half, Mukhtar was creating chances, and he was getting runs forward. But, I mean, I guess San Jose shaped up a little bit because in the first game, Mukhtar just did whatever he wanted, and they let him have that. But I don't think Nashville exploited what they did enough. Maybe if we had Leal, it would have been a more free-flowing game. But Sapong and Mukhtar should be able to handle the San Jose midfield and defense.
And I think I saw a lack they didn't connect up in the midfield.
They didn't connect the way they usually do.
Yeah.
And like I said, when the ball gets squared, there wasn't enough finishing ability.
That's right.
Extremely disappointing against one of the worst teams in Major League Soccer. I mean, for me, it just from the start, the team didn't look like they had a direction. The lineup. We're looking at a lineup. This is a back 3/back 5. One center back. Romney is. I looked at the health report. Maybe there's a situation like when Godoy was out and they didn't put him on the health report or whatever.
Yeah.
But Romney was absent on the health report. He appeared to be available for selection. Didn't play. We had Jack Mayer as our only center back on the field tonight. We usually play 3. We had 1. We were playing 2 right backs and 2 left backs. That doesn't work. It was a confusing formation from the beginning. It seemed like maybe in this system Wheel would get forward more, be more attacking, but that wasn't really the reality. It seemed like the team from the beginning lacked the fortitude to create chances, to put pressure on the other team. I mean, they had the possession for most of the game, which is fine if you want to counterattack, but there wasn't enough counterattacking. It wasn't fierce enough. It wasn't fast enough.
And we saw Sapong out of gas really quickly.
And there were a number of times where a through ball gets played from potentially a fullback or a wingback, and they just don't make the run.
Nope.
Or they make the run and they stop when they could have gotten to it.
No one's on
and
their
it's especially,
bike. Yep.
and I mean, I will say, to be fair, I was upset about the lack of substitutions. Then I realized, the guys we want to bring on, who do you normally bring on? You bring on Hawkinson and Loba. Well, Loba came on for Hawkinson because we are without Leal, we're without Godoy, we're without Zimmerman. So we didn't have great, and that's the depth problem. That's what Scott, you and I talked about. Yep. That's what we talked about the other day when it came to transfers, that we need to add more depth. But I mean, the team was lacking direction. There was no. Yeah. It just seemed like they didn't have a clear objective in mind, and it's just disappointing. And especially, I'm going to call out Ake Loba right now because there were a couple times I thought he made great passes and he looked to create something, and there were other times where he's in the box, the ball is close to him, it's in his vicinity, and this is a guy who he hasn't played a game in 2 weeks. He had his only full 90 of his entire Nashville career, to my knowledge, against Louisville recently. Other than that, it's not like he's tired out from fixtures or anything.
He ran out of steam fast.
He came on the field for 30 minutes at most. I forget the exact number. And there were times where the ball is right next to him in the box, and he's just walking.
Yep.
He's just nonchalant.
He's not. Yeah. There's no hustle, or he's right under CJ.
I mean,
that's the other thing.
CJ Sapong, who'd been playing a full night tonight, looked to have more of an ability and more of a desire to press the defense, try to create something in offense. the whole team was disappointing, but Loba was really disappointing.
Okay.
Another thing I wanted to sort of credit this loss to, and this is less of a dig on Sean Davis, but Sean Davis didn't seem to have the same kind of style of aggression we were used to. And I'll say I'm not going to go too hard on him for that because he has been great over and over again, and players are going to have off days, but I think it just goes to show the impact that he and Godoy have. When Godoy is gone and Davis isn't completely on top of his game, the midfield game, the midfield is usually the strongest part of the national team. It wasn't as good today.
I thought Sean Davis was digging, but I see
there
what you're saying. Where maybe
he makes these challenges that seem impossible, and he comes away with them. There wasn't anything spectacular from Davis today, and there were fewer good moments than we're used to, and I think that just goes to show the impact he has on the team. But I would have liked to see a little bit more from him today, especially after being on international break and not playing for a while. The team earned a day off after that Colorado win on the road. It looks like they were off. It looks like their day off extended to a week and a half off, and they were still on that day off today. I mean, I wasn't happy with it. And another thing is, I think Anunga had some tough luck with his yellow card because Anunga's thing is he is all about aggression. And when you're on a yellow, of course, you have to dial that back a little bit. So when he gets on a yellow 3 minutes in, you just know, he'll be able to do some things, but he's not going to be able to give 100% because you don't want to risk getting a red card, especially against, it's better to have a 0-0 draw than a 1-0 loss.
For 2 games, and now
so
we're down
it was
to
tough. We have a
defensive
tired
midfielder.
Davis who already wasn't at his highest level, and an Anunga who has to dial it back in terms of aggression. It was a difficult situation, but at the end of the day, you have to be able to persevere in difficult situations against one of the worst teams in MLS, probably one of the favorites to finish in dead last and get the wooden spoon. You have to find ways to rise above. I thought Mukhtar was creating some incisive chances in the first half. There wasn't enough of that in the second, and the people around him weren't able to pick it up. And the passing backwards, especially with Eric Miller,
the passing backwards was a thing.
Disappointing and really shocking in some cases. There's some cases where you don't need to be making his backward passes at all. We get forward right outside the penalty area. Next thing you know, we're halfway in our own defensive end, and Jack Mayer's got the ball because Wheel and Miller decided to go back. One last thing, I want to talk about the lineup selection.
Okay.
This will be quick, I promise you, because I know we got to get out of here quickly. Gary Smith decided that he would put Cade Cowell against Alex Wheel and Eric Miller.
Yep.
That's shocking. That's absolutely from one of the best managers in MLS, in my opinion.
As if it was nobody's business.
And I mean, he had a really good chance. He nearly scored. Willis came up with a good save. But for one of the best managers in MLS, in my opinion, to put out a lineup that sees a right wing back who is solid, but whose defense is not his strong suit, and a right back at right center back who doesn't seem to really excel in anything against one of the top young talents in the league. That's shocking, and that's another thing that's unacceptable. And maybe Romney was hurt and we didn't know it, and it didn't come out in time, to be on the health report. Maybe there's something we don't know here, but I mean, why not start Longmire or Bauer? And if they mess up, then we can just chalk it up to inexperience. This was just a bad decision to put out,
I think
4 fullbacks.
Especially when it's
unbelievable.
You've got a situation where you don't have the MLS start, you don't have Zimmerman in the back, you've got a whole lot of people missing. I think this would have been the time to do something like put
Why not put Longmire or Bauer?
I mean,
I don't understand it, but there's a lot of things I don't understand.
I think honestly on that one, I think even on the subs, I thought like you had mentioned earlier, Hackinson coming off, Loba coming on. This is a situation where the subs don't exactly make sense. Even Sapong staying out when he clearly had lost.
I wish
gas.
Loba would have came on for Sapong.
That's what I was. I thought that was coming. Actually, that's
I think
exactly
Hawkinson brings a good thing to our side.
That's right. I thought Hackinson was a great.
I think if he had a couple more minutes, he might have been able to create some more chances. He of course created the chance for Mokhtar to score in Colorado.
That's right.
Maybe this is make up for a win in Colorado that seemed kind of random and uncharacteristic to score 3 goals like that on the road.
Yeah.
Maybe this is us getting brought down to earth. But we don't have games at hand on teams, but what we do have is home games in hand.
Oh, we have a ton of those.
These are the ones. These are the ones where you start to get ahead in the table. And you can't afford to be picking up 1 point against San Jose when you're trying to fight to, one, stay in the playoff range, but also rise up and try to get a home playoff game.
Yep.
You can't afford to do this.
And I think especially because with Gary Smith's play style, with MLS it often is a middle of the table race. Mm-hmm. But with Gary Smith's play style, a draw is a draw. And so I do have to say, I'm glad we came.
You try to win at home, and you try to draw, and if you can get a win, great on the road. This wasn't the level of play and the level of aggression was not enough. I think next Sunday, national TV against Sporting Kansas City, a team with solid players but who's been really out of form this season.
Who's been getting picked lately by transfers.
I hope this is a game that I hope it's a repeat of the Chicago Fire game last year. I hope
Okay.
Bang, 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 goal. I think this
Back to
could be
back.
like the Houston game where a fire gets lit under every player and they bring a new level. That's the only good thing that could come out of this draw.
Let's hope for a good thing in 8 days. NSC Fan TV here with Reid. Thank you very much.